Yes, I am sweaty, but it is not from the regular Tulum party. We are at the lifestyle event that happens twice a week called Run Tulum, and it is Wednesday night after our 5-kilometer, 6 p.m. run. This just is an example of the Tulum lifestyle. So there has been a big change in the Riviera Maya real estate market, and that is that we now have people that are coming down and living here permanently. And I'm so excited to have my friend Regina Lawrence here today. She's from the United States of America. So Regina, I need to dabble in. You've made your move down here. Tell me your kind of history in the United States. She was a litigator. She's a smart cookie. What did that look like before when you were living in the US? And how did you feel? Like, how was life living there and being a litigator?
Yeah, so I'm an American from Philadelphia. I grew up on the East Coast. And in Philadelphia, I was a lawyer, I was a trial attorney, I was a law professor, and I lived like a very normal corporate kind of life. And I knew that that really wasn't for me. And so I went on a journey in my life, and I went on like a soul journey and a soul quest. And I realized that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so I exited practice, started my own business. I owned a social media marketing agency. And in the midst of that, discovered Tulum. And I came here for a visit. And my very first time here visiting in 2020, I was like, this is a really special place, and went back to the US and kept coming back to Tulum to visit. And every trip kept getting a little bit longer and a little bit longer and a little bit longer. And then a year and a half ago, I spent a couple months here. And I thought, I'll come to Tulum, I'll spend a couple months, get it out of my system. But what happened was when I lived here for a few months, I realized that there's so many people that live here that it would be possible for me to run my agency that operates in the US and Canada really well in Tulum. And so I thought, like, I'm just gonna try it out and see. And I've been here for almost a year now.
So you went from all spectrums, from the way that we're kind of socially taught, we have to do this, you have to go to school, you have to do that. You have to live in a busy big city like Philly, and then you leave. You decide you leave your corporate position. You go onto the creative side, which a lot of us here know Regina for being a creative person, because although she didn't say it, she is kind of a resident DJ as well. Like her creative side, has your creative side blossomed when you moved down here?
I would say definitely. One of the reasons I moved here is because I had started DJing and I wanted to be in an environment with other musicians and artists and creative people. Like, I'm the CEO of a social media marketing agency, but it's a creative agency. And so I have that strategic brain from being an attorney, but I'm a super artistic, creative person. And so Tulum has really helped me foster that and develop that even more, especially with my music.
Right. And how did kind of your close group react when you decided, like, or even your business? Did you have a brick and mortar space, or was it online, your digital company, your social media marketing?
Yeah, my company has always been online, and that's something that's really important to me, is that I wanted to be able to live anywhere and work anywhere. And when you're an attorney, you have to practice in the places where you're barred to practice in the US. So everybody on my team is remote, so it wasn't a strange thing for my team for me to pack up and move to another country. Like, part of my team's in South America, some of my team's in Canada. My family was very confused at first about the move. They were like, "You're moving to Mexico?" My mom was like, "Is it okay? Like, are you gonna be safe?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a really magical, safe, beautiful place."
And how was your transition here? Like, what changed in your daily movement compared to the States? Did you have routine in the States? I mean, as a business person, I'm sure you were hard on yourself and strict and had, like, you know, your daily, I have to do this at this time, and your schedule.
Yeah.
Has it remained the same? Has it flowed a little different here?
Yeah, I mean, it flows differently, but I'm quite a disciplined, structured, routine person. Yeah. And I've been able to maintain that here. I'm able to work on my business and also enjoy this beautiful place that we live in. Yeah. So there's a little more flow, but even with the flow, I'm able to work full time, run my business, but do it from spaces and places that I love. Like, so for example, there's a coffee shop I love in La Valletta called Mira. My friend owns it. And I sit at that counter every day and I have my favorite coffee and I do my work. Some days I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen the beach in a couple days. I'm going to go down to the beach, and I know the places with great Wi-Fi and great co-working, and I'll go down and sit and work for a couple hours and take my meetings at the beach. And I'm still working a lot, but my quality of life while doing it is just so much more better.
here's the thing. I feel like when you do move down here, people do think you're literally on vacation all day. Like I posted 2 days ago, you know, my computer at the beach, but I was working there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Sun beaten down, so hot. So people like, they kind of, I don't know if people can imagine themselves moving permanently and realizing that they will in fact be working.
Yeah.
And paying their bills and, you know, collecting a check. So it's really important, I think, that we kind of, you know, show the fact that people can come here and can make a living and can exist. 1 second, Phil is here. Sorry.
I was like,
I'm like,
what do I do? I forgot my laptop.
okay, so yeah, tell me about like how it was finding somewhere to live. What kind of property do you live in, so people know that when they come down here, like what they can expect to find to live? Because I think you live in probably a spacious place.
I do, yeah. Yeah, so for me, it was really important. I had spent some time here, so I got to know the different neighborhoods. And I actually rented my house sight unseen. I live in a neighborhood called Region 15, so it's halfway between town and halfway to the beach. And I wanted to live in a jungly area, but close enough to beach and close enough to town. So I'm like 6 minutes from each. And I had friends who were here who were realtors and went and looked at the property for me just to let me know if it seemed aligned with what I wanted. And I rented it initially for a shorter period of time and then went into a long-term lease with it.
Amazing. Can we jump in? You might have to cut this, but something very hilarious that happened with your rental.
I was renting my unit and I got a text from my landlord. And also, like, me and my landlord have been in conversations that I might buy this unit.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, so just so you know, we looked at the deed and I actually don't own the unit you're in. I actually own the unit next door. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, the builder actually owns your unit and I own his unit. But like, jokes on the builder, because his unit was, he like made his like super nice.
Yeah.
He put panels on the roof.
Oh my gosh, you didn't tell me that.
So I have solar panels on the roof. Everything's nicer. Everything's finished more. And so I moved into the builder's unit.
That's amazing. And that is only something I feel like that really happens down here, is that like someone will be like, yeah, I actually don't own that. I own the one next door.
Yeah.
Or that's one of the funny things. Some people things growing pains, but a lot of patience comes when you're living here. What are some things that you do have found to be a growing pain, or something that you're just like, it's so super different than, you know, United States of America?
Yeah, I'd say like when people always ask me like, what do you miss about America? And I always say I miss Target and Trader Joe's.
Oh,
Like as soon as I go back to America, the first thing I do is like go to a Target, get a Starbucks. I don't even like Starbucks coffee, but it's just like the process of it.
Yeah.
And walk up and down every aisle of a Target and Trader Joe's. Like that's what I miss. But other than that, like there's really not a lot that I am missing living in Tulum. I feel like a lot of the luxuries that I need are here, and I have found it. Like before I came, I was like, okay, who's going to do my hair? Who's going to do my lashes? Like who's going to do my manicures and pedicures? Like the luxuries that are like in my daily life. And has been easy, right?
Yeah.
And so my life is simpler here than it was in the US, but it's actually better, I feel like, for my brain. I have less options for certain things. Like you go to the grocery store and there's like just less options than in the US.
Yeah.
And I actually like it. There's less for me to think about at this point.
Yeah, they call it the paradox of choice. Like you also have blockbusters where there'd be 5 million options and you're stunted. You don't really know what to do. Here you're limited, but you know, you can know if a service is going to be good, because in the end we all kind of connect. I mean, I've taken how many contacts from you?
Yeah.
Or nails or hair or whatever I need. So it's really like a shared experience. I find personally that it is way more communal here.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you're more social here? Because I do not know how you run a business, how you are always in like a really grounded but positive like vibe, and you're DJing twice a week at our events. You're like, I don't know how you do it. Like, do you feel you are more community based here? You're more social than usual, or no, always been this way?
No, I'm a community builder. Like, but when I left Philadelphia, I lived in Scottsdale, Arizona for 5 years, and I didn't know anyone. And I built the biggest community there. And that, like, So for me to be an adult and to go into like new spaces and make friends and build community, it doesn't scare me. It doesn't intimidate me. I know I'll find people.
Yeah.
And I've done that in Tulum like so easily. People are always like, oh my gosh, you've only been here for 9 months. I feel like you've been here forever.
Yeah.
And it feels like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I feel like you're there, like you've grown some like roots here, and everyone knows who you are, which is pretty badass. And at the same time, you still like operate in the States.
Yeah, so my favorite places to socialize, I love coffee and I love food. So my friend Simone's restaurant in La Valletta, Mira, is one of the best breakfast restaurants and coffee in Tulum. Other friends of mine own a place called Pizzine. It's like a standard in Tulum, and they have 2 locations. They have a little one in La Valletta and a big one in Centro. And the little one in La Valletta is where me and my girlfriends go at least 5 nights a week for a drink and a catch up.
Right.
After we're done working. And the one in town has great DJs, great music, great events. And then another great place that I love is I love to work out. And so I have 2 gyms that I'm obsessed with. One is Tony in Tulum, Tony and Elle's gym. It's a really amazing HIIT workout. And the other one is Navi, owned by my friend Alicia. And it's calisthenia. So those are like my places where, like, the joke is I'm the queen of Mara now because I know everyone. And like those are the places where like I probably spend my most time and build my most of my community.
Right.
I think especially like as an American coming here, like just accepting and honoring the fact that like you're not in America anymore, and it's going to be a very different cadence of life, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And have a lot of patience and have a lot of respect for not just the people who have moved here, but for the people who are from here and who live here. I've been studying Spanish, and so starting to study the language even before you come.
Thank you for saying that. That's super important, I think, if you're moving here, to really put effort into the normal to put effort into speaking, because it's, you know, it's a Spanish country.
Yeah.
You need to be speaking the language of the people that are from here.
And like a little bit goes a long way. And like the Spanish speakers that live here are so appreciative when somebody who is a non-Spanish speaker comes and like tries.
Yeah.
So for me, like I'm taking Spanish lessons 1 to 2 times a week. And when I'm speaking to a Spanish speaker, I speak as much Spanish as I can. And then I Spanglish it and I speak English. And like, I'm not going to be perfect, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think like really honoring the fact that like this is Mexico, and it is a different culture than other countries in North America, like Canada and the US. And so like, don't come in here and like act like this is your country, because it's not, and learn language and just have respect, and like respect also just in the observation of the way Mexicans move through life, the way they move through their days, and like try to learn pieces of that and adopt it.
I got goosebumps when you said that, because it's actually very true. Like, we are not there. And so, you know, I want this now. I want this now. This is just not how, frankly, a lot of the world does not even operate that way. No. And it is kind of weird, at least for me, when I go back to Canada, it's almost too easy that you actually start, I personally start feeling like I'm just like a taker of everything. Like everything just is, nothing has meaning anymore.
Yeah.
You know? Like the delicacies of what you get from like plated, beautiful, delicious Yucatan food, like it kind of loses, you don't have that up north. And what we do have here is like definitely like an intention behind of a lot of things. And really good people, really good different experiences. But yeah, if you want to get that French cheese, like you're going to be paying a lot more.
Yeah, it's just different. Like you're not in a big hub like the US or Canada. Yeah. Things are different. And so just honor that it's different. Don't expect it to be something that it's not. And come in with like an attitude of respect for and gratitude for this like beautiful space that you get to be in. Yeah.
I love that. So we're actually going to be following Regina tonight to one of the DJing events that she does twice a week. That's going to be next on the video.